What's up everyone and welcome back to the MMA Talk. In a scene that could have easily come straight out of an action movie, former UFC light heavyweight champion Jiří Procházka recently took part in an intense and visually stunning fire performance. Known for his warrior spirit and unconventional mindset, Procházka didn't just attend the show as a spectator, he decided to get involved in the action himself, putting his fearlessness on full display. The event began in a festive atmosphere, with performers showcasing their mastery of fire through dazzling spins, flames, and intricate tricks. Procházka, who has long been known for his philosophical approach to life and martial arts, appeared fascinated by the performance. True to his nature, the Czech fighter couldn't resist stepping into the spotlight to test his own courage and coordination in a new way. As the crowd watched with anticipation, Jiří took a torch soaked in fuel and prepared to attempt fire breathing, a daring stunt that requires precision and control. The technique involves expelling a fine mist of flammable liquid from the mouth toward an open flame, creating a massive burst of fire. Done correctly, it's a breathtaking display. Done incorrectly, it can be extremely dangerous. At first, everything seemed to be going smoothly. Procházka took a deep breath, exhaled the mist toward the torch, and a bright plume of fire erupted, drawing gasps and cheers from those watching. The flames illuminated the night sky and reflected off his face, giving the moment an almost mythical quality, perfectly in line with Jiří's samurai spirit persona. However, the situation quickly took a risky turn. In his enthusiasm, Procházka leaned a little too close to the camera crew filming the event. A burst of fire shot outward with surprising force, and for a split second, it looked as if the cameraman was in real danger. The flames whooshed past, narrowly missing him, and the heat was intense enough that he instinctively jumped back. Witnesses described it as a heart-stopping moment, one that could have ended much worse. Thankfully, no one was injured. The cameraman escaped unharmed, and Procházka immediately checked to make sure everyone was safe. Laughing it off afterward, Jiří acknowledged the close call with his trademark calmness, even joking about his lack of experience in pyrotechnics. "Maybe I'll stick to fighting," he reportedly quipped, still smiling as the tension turned into laughter among the crew and spectators. The incident quickly began circulating online, with fans praising Procházka's adventurous spirit but also reminding him that not every battle involves fire and fury. Many joked that the UFC star had momentarily turned into a real-life dragon, while others pointed out that his fearless attitude is exactly what makes him so beloved in the MMA world. In the end, the fiery mishap perfectly encapsulated Jiří Procházka's unique personality, brave, curious, and always willing to push his limits. Whether inside the octagon or outside it, he continues to live by his warrior code, to embrace every challenge fully, even if it means almost setting a cameraman on fire in the process. Before we jump into the next story, we have a small favor to ask. If you're enjoying the content, please give this video a like, subscribe to the channel, and tap the bell icon. It really helps us out, and ensures you'll never miss an update. Move on to another news. UFC fan favorite Max Blessed Holloway has never been one to hold his tongue, especially when someone calls him out without earning it. Recently, up-and-coming Brazilian fighter Anderson Silva, often referred to as Gene Silva, made headlines when he boldly declared on social media that his dream fight would be for the BMF Baddest Motherfucker title against Holloway, and not just anywhere, but inside the White House. The statement instantly caught the attention of MMA fans, not only for its unusual location but also because Silva had recently suffered a tough loss to Diego Lopes, a fight that left many questioning whether Silva should be calling out a legend like Holloway at this stage of his career. During a live stream on Kick, Max Holloway was asked about Silva's call-out, and the response was classic blessed, witty, confident, and dripping with humor. When a fan brought up the challenge, Holloway burst out laughing before delivering a series of sharp jabs aimed squarely at Silva's expense. "Did you see Gene Silva called me out for the White House?" Holloway said, chuckling in disbelief. "Is he smoking drugs? Holy, did he not see what Diego Lopes just did to him?" The former featherweight king couldn't help but continue roasting Silva, implying that the young fighter might still be recovering from the damage he took in his last fight. "This guy's gotta be trolling us, bro," Holloway added. "He needs to be concussed. That mother'd stay concussed, bro. Whatever he's saying, we're not taking it serious. Dude stays concussed." The clip instantly went viral across MMA's social media, with fans cracking up at Holloway's unfiltered response. Many praised the Hawaiian fighter for his comedic timing and his ability to keep things real while still maintaining his trademark laid-back personality. To be fair, Silva's call-out was ambitious, but the MMA community agreed that it came far too soon. Holloway, who recently claimed the BMF title in a spectacular knockout victory over Justin Gaethje at UFC 300, currently sits among the elite of the sport. Silva, on the other hand, is still early in his UFC journey, with a mixed record that doesn't exactly scream title contender. Holloway's reaction wasn't just mockery, it also carried an unspoken message about the hierarchy of the fight game. Fighters need to prove themselves before stepping into the cage with champions, and in Holloway's eyes, Silva hadn't done nearly enough to earn that shot. Still, the exchange added another entertaining chapter to Holloway's growing list of viral moments. Whether it's his iconic "I'm the best boxer in the UFC" moment against Calvin Kattar, his dance-offs with fans, or his legendary cage banter, Max continues to show that he's not just one of the best fighters in the world, he's one of the most charismatic personalities in MMA. In the end, Holloway's roast of Gene Silva became less about disrespect and more about the light-hearted humor that makes him so beloved. His message was clear: if you want a shot at the BMF king, you'd better bring more than bold words, you'd better bring wins. Until then, as Holloway would say, it is what it is, brada. Move on to another news. Fresh off a dominant run in the UFC, featherweight champion Ilia Topuria took a well-deserved break from the octagon to return home to Georgia, where he was welcomed like a national hero. The undefeated fighter, who has rapidly risen to superstardom, spent time reconnecting with his roots, and the scenes that unfolded during his visit proved just how much he has inspired his homeland. As soon as Topuria touched down in Georgia, the atmosphere was electric. Fans packed the airport terminal, waving flags, chanting his name, and holding up banners celebrating El Matador. For many Georgians, Topuria isn't just a fighter, he's a symbol of national pride, a homegrown warrior who's taken the spirit of Georgia to the global stage. Throughout his stay, Ilia was treated like true royalty. From public appearances to intimate fan meetups, everywhere he went, people gathered in droves to catch a glimpse of their champion. Streets were lined with cheering supporters, eager to shake his hand or snap a quick photo. In every video that surfaced online, you could hear chants of Topuria, Topuria, echoing through the crowd. During one event, fans surrounded his car, draping the Georgian flag over the windows as they shouted words of admiration. Topuria, always composed and respectful, stepped out to greet them with smiles and gratitude. He posed for pictures, signed autographs, and took the time to thank everyone who had supported him from the very beginning of his journey. It was a heartfelt moment that reflected his humility despite his growing fame. Topuria also made several stops to visit local gyms and youth training centers, inspiring the next generation of fighters. He shared advice about discipline, perseverance, and the mindset required to reach the top of the UFC. For young athletes in Georgia, seeing one of their own become a world champion served as a powerful reminder that greatness can come from anywhere. The superstar treatment continued wherever he went. Restaurants, public events, and even casual walks through the streets turned into spontaneous celebrations. The local media followed his every move, treating his return as a national event. It wasn't just about sports, it was about pride, culture, and the story of a man who carried his country's name onto the world stage with honor. At one point during his trip, Topuria was seen shadowboxing with fans, playfully demonstrating his signature sharp punches, drawing laughter and applause from the crowd. Each jab and hook was a reminder of the precision and power that made him one of the most feared strikers in the UFC. His people weren't just watching a champion, they were watching one of their own who had conquered the world but never forgotten his roots. By the time his visit ended, Ilia Topuria had solidified his status as a true national icon. His journey from a young fighter with big dreams to a global UFC superstar had come full circle, and the love and respect he received in Georgia proved that his impact extends far beyond the octagon. For Georgians everywhere, Ilia Topuria is more than just a champion, he's a symbol of determination, courage, and the power of believing in yourself. And as he returns to training for his next challenge, one thing is clear: no matter where his career takes him, Georgia will always be behind him, cheering louder than ever. Move on to another news. It was a difficult night for former One Championship double champion Reinier de Ridder, who faced Brendan Allen in the main event of UFC Vancouver. What was expected to be a major showcase for the Dutch fighter turned into a grueling, one-sided battle that forced his corner to make one of the toughest calls in the sport, throwing in the towel to protect their athlete. By the end of the fourth round, de Ridder was visibly exhausted, struggling to recover between rounds after absorbing significant punishment throughout the fight. Despite starting strong and finding some early success in the opening round, momentum quickly shifted in Allen's favor. As the bout progressed, de Ridder's output slowed, his defense waned, and it became increasingly clear that he was running on empty. When the horn sounded to end the fourth round, de Ridder returned to his corner drained and battered. That's when his head coach, Harun Oskan, made the decisive call to stop the fight. It was not an easy decision, but one that Oskan says he made out of care and responsibility for his fighter's long-term health. In a heartfelt post shared on Instagram, Oskan opened up about what went into that decision. "Friends, fans, and supporters," he began, "I normally don't share personal things on here, but I feel I owe everyone an explanation. Thank you all for the incredible support we've received. It's been a crazy and busy year so far, and last night didn't go as we intended." Oskan went on to describe how the fight took a drastic turn after a promising start. "After a very strong first round, things quickly started fading, and we couldn't recover from the shots taken in and after the second round. I made the call to stop the fight after the fourth. I take full responsibility for that decision, and for me, it was the right call in the moment." He emphasized that protecting de Ridder's health was his top priority. "It's not a decision I ever wanted to make, but my job is not only to coach, it's also to look out for my fighter's well-being. I've been with Reinier for basically his whole career and saw too many warning signs that made me step in. If I didn't, he would have continued fighting, even when it wasn't safe." Oskan's message was clear and grounded in compassion. There's a thin line between being tough and being reckless with your health. This sport is brutal, and fighters sacrifice so much much inside and outside the cage. There's no need for unnecessary damage if it can be avoided. Most people forget they're human too. He also made it clear that there would be no excuses made for the loss. We knew what we were going for, and we're not happy with the performance. But recovery comes first. We'll take time to evaluate everything and come back stronger next year. Oskan concluded his message by expressing pride in his fighter and gratitude toward their supporters. It has been an amazing year overall. I'm thankful for all the highs and lows in life. Proud of you, my brother Reinier. We've come a long way. Thank you everyone for the continued love and support. All love, Harun. The statement was met with widespread respect from fans and fellow fighters, including Daniel Cormier, who praised the decision as a rare example of true coaching integrity in MMA. In a sport where pride often overshadows safety, Oskan's choice stood out as a reminder that the fighter's health must always come first. Reinier de Ridder may not have left Vancouver with a win, but the compassion and professionalism shown by his corner ensured that he'll live to fight another day, and that, as his coach said, is what truly matters. Move on to another news. UFC legend and commentator Daniel Cormier has publicly praised Reinier de Ridder's coaching team for making what he believes was the right and responsible call, stopping their fighter's bout against Brendan Allen before things got dangerously out of hand. The decision, made between the 4th and 5th rounds of their main event clash at UFC Vancouver, has sparked discussion throughout the MMA community about fighter safety and corner responsibility. During a recent video on his YouTube channel, Cormier broke down the situation in his usual analytical style, applauding de Ridder's corner for putting their fighters' long-term health above all else. The former two-division UFC champion made it clear that the decision was not only justified but also admirable in a sport where toughness often takes precedence over self-preservation. It was absolutely the right decision, Cormier said. Reinier de Ridder's corner deserves a lot of credit for prioritizing their fighters' health. There were multiple moments in that fight that compounded bad positions, heavy shots, fatigue, and by the 4th round, he was simply too far behind. Cormier noted that de Ridder's physical condition was clearly deteriorating as the fight went on. He was barely able to get up after rounds 2, 3, and 4, he explained. There was no way he was going to make it through another 5 minutes. His corner did him a favor, a solid, by saying, "Hey, we'll live to fight another day. That's what good coaches do." The veteran analyst went on to discuss the often uncomfortable reality of corner stoppages in MMA. Sometimes, we as fans, and even as fighters, can be too hard on coaches for throwing in the towel, Cormier said. We want to see the warrior spirit, the guy who never quits. But the truth is, the coach's job isn't to let their fighter take unnecessary punishment just to prove toughness. Their job is to protect them even from themselves if they have to. Cormier emphasized that what de Ridder's team did was an act of courage, not weakness. A lot of people think stopping a fight is a sign of giving up. It's not. It takes a lot of heart and intelligence to recognize when enough is enough. De Ridder's coaches did what so many corners fail to do. They threw in the towel at the right time. They gave their guy the opportunity to recover, to go home healthy, and to come back stronger. He also highlighted how this moment should serve as a reminder to other teams in the sport. Too many corners let their fighters go on when it's clear they're done, he said. You can see it, no energy, no reaction, no chance to turn the fight around. But they let them keep taking damage anyway. What de Ridder's corner did should be applauded. They made a smart, human decision in a brutal sport. Cormier's comments reflect a growing sentiment in the MMA community that fighter safety must come before pride or entertainment value. While fans love seeing grit and perseverance, the consequences of letting a fighter absorb unnecessary punishment can be devastating, both physically and mentally. In the end, Cormier's message was simple but powerful. Reinier de Ridder's corner did what great coaches are supposed to do. They didn't just coach a fight, they cared for their fighter as a person. They gave that guy a chance to fight another day, Cormier concluded. And that's what this sport should be about, not just being tough, but being smart enough to know when to live to fight again.